Looks like we're live. Reed, can we do a little audio test before my people show up? We actually have a microphone today. All right, cool. Here we go. All right, let's turn the audio down on here. All right. All right, we got our first guest. Hello. We got our second guest. Hello. Hey guys, what's up? Hi. I'm not gonna lie, I'm going to butcher every single one of your names if I even attempt to say hi to you individually. So if you want to hear me butcher your name, then no, I just that's disrespectful. So I'm trying to be respectful. But you know who's not respectful? Spotify for deleting my album for artificial streams that I did not buy. So anyway, as people come into my live stream, I am going to be obviously answering your questions, but I have not live streamed since I posted my documentary that went kind of viral on YouTube. And it was my documentary about how Spotify deleted my album for artificial streams after I invested $100,000 of my own money into creating my album. And so I thought it would be cool to do a live stream, kind of talking about it, answering people's questions. And, you know, we don't have to talk about this incident specifically, but I just never had a chance to actually talk to you guys about it live. So I figured I'd give you an opportunity to ask me any questions about what actually happened and my thoughts and yeah. And all that good stuff. All right, what's up, guys? We got a lot of people in the chat. All right, let me look at who's here. Hello. All right, there are some easier names to pronounce. Clifford Clark again. No, this did not happen again. It only happened one time because I only had one album. But as I mentioned, it's just something that I never got a chance to live stream about. I have to be honest, after posting that documentary, I was editing like a mad woman. I literally, as soon as it happened, as soon as I got that notification that they were removing my album, a couple days later, the album disappeared. And then I was like, oh boy, it's on. I am editing this documentary. I'm telling this story. And so I was literally editing like a freaking mad woman. So I needed to take a break. So I actually just got back from vacation for a couple of days to visit family. So yeah, so we're back in action. And now that I feel a little bit more energized and I took a breather from the situation, I would love to finally do this live stream and talk a little bit more about it in depth. And but before we get to that, I do want to mention that first of all, I'm rocking Reed's Disrespectful 808s or Disrespectful Sauce, I think is what it was called. This is one of his old pieces of merch for holoops.com. If you guys watch any of my studio sessions, you'll notice that I use a lot of Reed's Disrespectful 808s in all of my productions because they are the most disrespectful. And he's actually doing 50% off sale on holoops.com. So that explains my sweatshirt. And we'll get to the sales in a second because I'm doing a little sale on my website, imkarra.com. If you go to my website and type in Livestream as the discount code, you'll get 30% off all my vocal templates, vocal sample packs, presets, courses, the whole 9 yards. Okay, let me see what you guys are doing. Butcher my name. Okay, Freeman Music. That's not even a butcher what? That's not even a bad name to butcher. I need a harder name than that. Let's see. Ustandal Hakan Gordal. Hey there. I hope I didn't butcher your name. DJ Dark Prime. What's going on? What's going on? I love all of you guys so much. Thank you for joining me. So Neom says, so I deleted Spotify. I actually deleted Spotify too. I mean, obviously, my entire catalog is still available on Spotify, and it's gonna stay there because all of those songs were released through actual record labels, and so I have no power over what happens with those songs. So I'm leaving my old catalog be. But I personally deleted Spotify. I deleted everything off of my DistroKid account except for my song Underwater, because that's the only song that actually is doing well. And I think a lot of people would actually be upset if I took that off streaming services. So I'm leaving all of my old songs on streaming services. I'm just not going to continue to release songs there. And I'm not using that app at all. I'm done with Spotify. I'm just done with all streaming services. Honestly, it's just not, after my experiences with it, I have no desire to even support these platforms just because they don't support me. And thousands of other independent artists are having their songs, their entire music catalogs getting removed for no reason. And it's really upsetting, to have this be the state of the industry. I know that there's big headlines that Spotify removed, 70 million AI generated songs or something like that. First of all, that's insane that there's even that amount of AI songs, AI slop available on these platforms. Crazy. But, I'm not sure if they actually care or if this is just, a fake headline to get people to get on their good side. I have no idea. I have no idea, guys. But let's see. All right. So a Rippy Music lit up. BD. Hello. Baby daddy. BD baby daddy. JM official channel, my first live stream with KARRA. Welcome. Actually, since posting my documentary, I did gain a ton of new subscribers. So if you are new here, welcome. Welcome to the fam. I'm so happy to have you here, and I love you and I appreciate you. And we are going to have a lot of fun together. And yeah, I am very much committed to live streaming more often. So if this is your first live stream, once again, welcome, and I hope you enjoy. Ask questions. I'm going to periodically go through, my chat here and answer your questions if you have anything in regards to Spotify deleting my album or anything about the music industry, music production, or if you're just interested in getting to know me as a person. This is a great opportunity for you to ask your questions. So anything that's on your mind. All right, let's see. Mixing in the Box 365. Hey. Inferno. SoundCloud is the GOAT. I personally have never had a good experience with SoundCloud either. I have literally, I don't even know how many songs on my SoundCloud profile at this point that are not my songs, and I have submitted them to be removed multiple times, and SoundCloud will not remove the songs. So I personally can't recommend SoundCloud because I haven't had a good experience with them either. All of my personal and private, which is so weird because you would think that an artist profile would be protected, It would make sense if I had full control over what my artist profiles on everything, Spotify, Apple Music, SoundCloud. It would make sense that I would have control over those profiles, but unfortunately, I do not. And so all of my profiles are just littered with songs that are not mine. Oh no, am I frozen? Oh. Oh, okay. I thought I got frozen for a second. I was like, it always freezes on an ugly ass pose or face. No, it's not frozen anymore. We're back. We unfroze. But anyway, as I was saying, all of my personal music pages are littered with songs that are not mine. And this has been happening to me since I started releasing music, but it got really bad when my Splice sample packs went viral. And I was on the, you know, the leading end of sample pack culture and actually, you know, being an artist that puts out packs. I was one of the first female artists to really, you know, dive headfirst into that space. And I think Bright Lights was one of the only other female vocalists that had an artist pack on Splice at the time. So I put out my pack, and so when I did that, I did not expect them to get millions of downloads, nor did I predict that this was going to be an issue where people would use my sample packs and then, you know, not read the terms of use or listen to the terms of use or follow them. And so a lot of people, unfortunately, have used my sample packs and then released songs and tagged me as a main artist. So I have all of these unofficial collaborations littered all across all of my streaming platforms and profiles. So this has been a battle that I have been fighting for years, and I actually was silenced about speaking about this publicly. But now that Spotify removed my album completely, I'm not going to be silenced anymore. I'm going to speak openly about the truth of how horrible the streaming services are and how there's zero cybersecurity whatsoever. And as an independent artist, you know, it just makes it very difficult to exist in the industry because I'm constantly dealing with all of these issues. And for me, once my album got taken down, I kind of just was like, all right, this is God telling me that it's time to move on. And so I am 100% fully committed to YouTube. And of course, I post on my Instagram, my TikTok, and YouTube Shorts. I'm still posting there, but not as frequently because I am, like I said, committed to YouTube. And when I'm making these long format videos, it takes a lot longer to create than to make a 60 to 90 second short or reel. So yeah, I enjoy making full videos that are 20 to 30 minutes long so people can actually, you know, experience something, you know? It's really hard to tell a story in 30 seconds. You know what I'm saying? So I personally prefer YouTube, and that's exactly why I chose to never release music on streaming services, because I just, as an artist, I am able to express myself fully and get paid fairly on YouTube. So yeah, I want to dig into this a little bit more, but before I do that, I do want to share a little bit about the sales that we have going on, and maybe Reed can pop in and say hi to my guests. We got a lot of people in the chat, so welcome everybody. Please ask your questions. I'm going to start answering questions right after, you know, me and Reed talk a little bit about our sales that we're doing right now, and then yeah, we'll dig into it, guys. All right, so I am currently doing a 30% off sale on my website if you use the promo code Livestream. So if you are somebody that, you know, potentially wants to learn how to record vocals, then I really, really recommend my stock plugin vocal templates for every popular DAW. So I have Logic Pro, Ableton, FL Studio, Pro Tools, Studio One, and Cubase. And even if you're not a vocalist, if you are just wanting to record in little vocal samples that you can manipulate and edit or sample and, you know, just do fun stuff with, these vocal templates are really helpful because it is basically a pre-mapped vocal chain for you guys. And it comes with a 30-minute course. And actually, these courses are these products I released, like 5 or 6 years ago at this point? It's crazy. Wow. And we are currently working on updating these courses, and I'm going to be doing the course this time around, which I'm very excited about. And yeah, I can't recommend these templates enough. These are my best sellers on my website. So if you are somebody that is interested in learning how to mix vocals, 10 out of 10. I stutter a lot on live stream. I'm sorry, guys. I 10 out of 10 recommend these. And then obviously I have some of the best selling vocal sample packs in the world. And so of course I have my own exclusive vocal sample pack on my website. Oh, I see a guest coming in. Hey, Reed, what's up?
Hello, hello.
You want to share a little bit about my vocal sample pack?
Yes, so these are the best-selling vocal sample packs for a very good reason, because not only do you get song starters, but you also get hooks, phrases, one-shots, all those important little tidbits that you drop into your sampler, create leads in your drop out of. Like, it's not just about a cappella plop and drop. It's like, as a music producer, you have a whole wide sonic palette of vocals to make instruments out of, to make music production out of.
Yep.
Or to have like a little phrase before your drop if your whole instrumental just needs some little hook or tag.
Yep.
Or an ad lib, vocal chop.
Yeah, and you know what's really cool? I really enjoy providing vocal samples of all kinds of vocal performances, like opera and all sorts of stuff, because you can take even just like a little sample of my voice and then create an entire synth lead or a completely new sound or just anything creative. So
Absolutely.
So yeah, this is on sale for 30% off if you use the code Livestream. And then just real quick, I also have presets for waves and serum and isotope, and I'm actually still in the process of finalizing my new serum pack.
The serum pack is about to be off the chain.
Fire.
It's specifically made with Serum 2.
Yes.
Which means we are utilizing a wide range of brand new features that were never possible in Serum before. Yeah. So this new KARRA for Serum pack that's coming out is really unlike the other ones in a good way.
Yes, you are going to be able to play my voice on the piano, and because Serum 2 has multi-sampler.
Exactly, and the voice really sounds like a organic human voice this time around, whereas the last time it was kind of like synthesized voices, whereas this time it's the real deal. Like you feel like KARRA is singing whatever you play on your MIDI keyboard.
Exciting.
It's for real.
All right, enough about me. Let's go to Whole Loops.
Hey.
Still says Labor Day sale, but we gotta update that.
Yeah.
But Reed is doing a 50% off sale on everything right now, so.
Yep, take advantage of it before I update the website, because Labor Day was actually 2 weeks ago. I've just been really busy editing
we've been busy.
Yeah. So 50% off while you still can. I'm actually going to be changing that soon.
Shout out to the Disrespectful 808 bundle.
Yep, the Disrespectful 808 bundle is easily one of the hottest selling products. Who doesn't need fat 808s?
We all need some fat at. I'm just kidding. We all need a fat.
We all need a fat 808.
Who doesn't like a fat?
Fat 808.
808. Anyway, definitely go check out wholeloops.com for 50% off. He is going to update his pricing pretty soon, but we have Black Friday coming up, which is going to be the biggest sale of the year.
Oh, always is.
Always. So if you don't get anything on this time around, we're going to be doing another sale for Black Friday.
Yeah, actually, the next time you see our black backdrop, it'll probably be Black Friday. So enjoy it while it's here, because it's going to be other colors for the next few weeks.
Oh, someone says I used to date a ventriloquist.
I'm sorry to hear that. Emphasis on used to.
I know that life. I could relate. Okay, so let's actually, since we have you, Reed, why don't you share with my lovely audience here your thoughts and perspective on Spotify deleting my album, because you were a producer on it and you were a co-investor with me on the album. So what are your thoughts?
All right, well, I'm always like a solutions kind of person, so yeah. I'm just going to skip straight to, obviously everyone knows what happened, and it was very unfair and very unfortunate and very unpredictable and very possibly could happen to anybody.
Yes.
But if I had to say there's one solution that could possibly fix this, I'm going to say two possible solutions. The first possible solution would be give artists a username and password so that people can't upload crap to their profile or delete crap from their profile. Like, just a username and password would solve a lot of the music industry's issues.
Yeah.
But apparently that's not worth it for them. Independent artists don't deserve usernames and passwords. So that brings me to solution number 2. Let's get the distributions out of here. Like, why do we even have distributors to begin with? Can we just ditch the highway robbery and give us an upload button on these platforms? How about...
Give us an upload button.
How about we all skip the highway robbery And Spotify just puts an upload button on there so that
Yeah.
only people who log into your Spotify can upload things to your Spotify. Wow.
And actually pay a fair rate for streaming.
Sure. And obviously the rate can be debated. Obviously, audio is arguably worth less than video. So you have to look at what a video stream is worth and like come up with a number that's lower than that. And I think that that's technically fair. And it's going to be a low number no matter what. And also there's so much demand. I'm sorry, so much supply and only so much demand. So that also affects the rate. So I think a better argument, instead of arguing that the rate needs to go up, I think a better argument would be, let's just get the distributors the hell out of here. That whole industry needs to just be deleted. Instead of people's albums, let's delete their whole industry.
Yeah, I agree. I agree wholeheartedly. Just real quick, someone says that I'm a bit low volume on my mic compared to Stefan.
Oh, so hit the red gain on your knee. Turn your preamp up a couple clicks.
All right, let me.
Sorry, I'm also just getting real heated right now too.
Yeah, for real though.
If you just do the preamp knob, you don't have to do it in the app. Just do it on the preamp itself.
Oh, here.
Yeah. Yeah, you probably got some more clicks to go up.
Okay, can you guys let me know if this is better for you? It's really hard to.
You can also turn me down if I'm clipping, but yeah, I'm getting heated right now. Sorry. Every time someone just says the D word around me, distributor, I just get pissed off because
Mamba says never seen a puppet go this hard.
it's just straight up highway robbery. There's no way to explain the distribution industry without just explaining how highway robbery works.
Yeah, it's true. I really can't stand music distributors, and I genuinely believe it's one of the biggest scams in the music industry. And I just feel like it's so unnecessary, and they could well, actually, talk about you're really knowledgeable about this.
Okay, so why don't these platforms have an upload button?
Yeah.
Okay, here's what you guys don't realize. These platforms are just search engines.
Right.
They are not like warehouses of hard drives filled with music. Like if you host files like YouTube, there are giant warehouses filled with hard drives that host everybody's YouTube uploads because YouTube is a host.
Yeah.
And a search engine.
Yeah.
Spotify is a search engine pretending to be a host.
Yeah.
They don't have hosting
They're not a host.
of any. They're not a host.
They're
they
not.
They're
They
like
don't
Google
have
Images.
the warehouses.
They don't have the warehouses full of hard drives. They want the distributors to be the ones to eat that cost, and they've been able to get away with it. And it's just stupid. Why don't we force them to also be hosts?
Yeah.
If they're going to host the music industry like they are, how about they host the music instead of letting these weird highway robbers come in between us and our own profiles?
Yeah. And Kane Tattoo says co-investor. LOL. How many people starting up with have co-investors? Let's talk about our relationship a little bit. So I have been dating Reed for almost 10 years now. We're married. We got married, like 2-3 years ago now. That's crazy to think about. But he and I have built this completely from scratch. And we invested our money that we were making from the music industry, from our publishing deals and our sync licensing and all of the brand sponsorships that we worked so hard to land. And we took that money and we invested it into creating this album and into buying our studio equipment and our camera gear. And so that's what I mean by co-investor. It's not like I just had some rich guy just hand me a check and say, here you go, have at it. No, we worked really hard for the money that we have. And so that's why this hurt even more, because it felt like we just got robbed, in a sense. But
it's not that you got robbed. It's like your whole final destination of like the end point of your product just became this wishy-washy dumpster fire.
Yeah.
So it's wait, so we're doing all of this just to upload our audio to this wishy-washy digital dumpster fire where anyone can upload anything to my page.
Exactly.
Anyone can delete anything from my page.
Right.
They don't even have a username and password to stop people from doing it, and they don't care when people point it out.
Right.
So it's like maybe we just shouldn't.
Right, exactly. That's what I mean by robbed. You know, we made these conscious choices, and I don't regret the investments that we've made because we have learned so much. If you actually haven't seen part 2 of my documentary, I go through in detail why I made the decisions that I made and why I didn't choose to just use AI to create my visuals and my art, and why I chose to actually invest in real people and real creatives. And guess what? I learned so much. And now I get to run my YouTube channel and not have to hire all of these different people or spend that money or, you know, in the future. So it was all for a purpose, and I don't regret that at all. I'm just a little disappointed on how the end result came to be, you know?
And it's not like these platforms kind of went to hell recently. I mean, I guess you could say with the advent of all the AI slop,
the
they went to
AI
hell
slop
recently.
is new.
But what's not new is the fact that anyone could upload anything to anyone's profile.
Right. No, that's
That's
been a
just
problem.
that's been part of the design since day one.
Yes.
And the reason that doesn't affect major label artists is because they have homies who can text homies who get it fixed in 2 minutes.
Exactly.
And that's also by design.
Exactly.
And the ironic part of it is they're terminating people's albums for using bots when the distributors themselves are using bots to respond to us as customer service.
I know. Oh my God, that drives me freaking insane.
It's like, wait, bots are bad? Oh.
Oh my God.
Looks like I'm talking to a bot right now.
The customer service for DistroKid is literally called DistroBot.
It's literally called DistroBot. I thought bots were bad.
It makes no sense. It makes no sense. And even the customer service for Spotify, I have had so many issues. So listen to this. I have had releases on my official artist page, like under my actual releases, not just tagged as, you know, a featured artist.
Not someone pretending to have collaborated with you. This is someone pretending to be you.
To be me. I've had situations like that, and I have had to provide proof of, you know, owning the trademark of my name. I've had Spotify deny me the takedown, and it's just a big mess. It doesn't make any sense. And after doing that hundreds of times, you get exhausted, you get, you know, you kind of lose hope in the system.
My favorite response is when they tell you to contact the record label who uploaded the infringing upload.
Oh my
and then
God.
you go look and it's like Boofy Goof Records and they have no email address and no website and no contact information.
It's crazy. It's crazy, especially because these are people that clearly don't understand how the music industry works. And so they're not actual labels doing this, because actual labels aren't listing, you know, sample pack creators as artists.
Right, because they understand how trademark infringement works and they understand that that's against the law in pretty much any country. And that also brings us to issue number 3 million. Which country's laws do you enforce here? Let's see, Spotify's Swedish, DistroKid's American, every other distributor's from a different country. The people uploading your songs are from a different country.
World, yes.
You're in a different country.
Yes.
It's like there's just no protection for anybody, and that's reason number 3 why this is just built to be a dumpster fire by design.
Woohoo! And I'm supposed to be excited about this?
Woo! Let's upload it all.
It's disrespectful.
Anyways.
Disrespectful as hell. Anyway, thank you, Reed, for joining me.
Sorry, I was getting heated for a second.
It's okay. I totally understand because I also get heated whenever I talk about this.
Yeah, honestly, distributors, y'all need to go. Get out of here.
Get out of here.
Get out of here. We have new technology. We don't need you.
We don't need you.
Literally, we could put an upload button on a platform and end your whole industry.
Well,
easily.
Wait, didn't Tidal?
Even Tidal's already doing it.
Okay, so
they're lucky no one likes Jay-Z because everyone would be using Tidal right now.
Oh my God, Reed. Oh, Jesus. Okay. So I guess Tidal put an upload button, which I guess is a step in the right direction.
Yes, that's a step in the right direction. Distribution is highway robbery. Get them out of here.
Oh, Busy Works Beats in the chat. He says that's actually a dope hoodie idea, and shout out to Reed. You guys, actually, Busy Works Beats is one of the OGs on YouTube, tutorials and all that fun stuff. Reed was kind of starting out at the same time as him, right?
Yeah, I've been in the game since 2012.
That's awesome. So is Busy Works Beats. So shout out to you for paving the way for all of us content creators in music production. It's freaking awesome. And yeah, we are very much just normal people who are passionate about music. And so for us to continue to release music on these streaming platforms that clearly don't have any sort of regulation or support independent artists, it just doesn't make sense. But what does make sense, Reed?
Okay, I mean, well, it's hard to pretend like it's not an absolute clown world that we're living in with this music distribution system and how messed up it is. So
YouTube makes sense for us.
YouTube makes a lot of sense for us.
Yeah. And I can't talk about, how much I absolutely love this platform. Yes, it took a lot of years to build what we've built, but it was worth it. And it was fun.
Yep. And YouTube has its flaws too. And we'll be happy to talk about those when we encounter them.
Yeah.
But so far, whenever we encounter an issue, we contact their support. A human gets back to us and the issue gets resolved. And we don't have any negativity to report yet. But we'll be happy to be open and honest if that happens.
Right. We actually talked to YouTube support when I wanted to change my YouTube channel from a music channel to just like a normal content creator channel.
And this is a subject for a video itself. If you have a music note next to your YouTube channel's name, that is the kiss of death.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to leave that cliffhanger there to encourage you to watch the upcoming KARRA video.
Yeah. So if you have an artist channel on YouTube, you are not allowed to promote, tag products and earn commission off of them, which was a huge, blockage for me as a content
That's
creator.
like a main content creator revenue source is tagging a product or promoting something. So you become ineligible for that. The second thing you become ineligible for if you have the music note is posting shorts longer than 60 seconds. Because if you are a musician account, they assume that you are solely here to siphon users to Spotify. And they don't like siphoners. So they treat you they treat you as a siphoner.
Yeah.
And so if you have a music note, you are a YouTube siphoner in their respect, and you're just here to funnel people away from YouTube, and that's the opposite of what any platform wants.
Yeah. So I get a lot of questions, why not BandLab? And why not, what was the other one? There was another platform. Bandcamp. So I could easily, post to BandLab and Bandcamp, but I am one of those people that I really need to have a focus. And when I am doing too much and posting in too many places, it kind of just gets diluted. And for me personally, I could totally try Bandcamp, but I kind of lost my passion for trying to sell music. I don't really believe that people are truly, interested in buying physical copies of music as much as they used to. And, I don't blame people. I mean, who wants to spend money on music? It's
already everywhere for free.
Yeah, it's already everywhere for free. And so for me, it just doesn't really seem like a profitable business venture, even if I could make a couple bucks doing it. I would rather just focus on building my YouTube community and actually my newfound passion for making documentaries. Yeah. This whole Spotify situation actually opened up a whole new creative, avenue for me personally. And now we are starting a whole docu-series of really exciting stuff. I'm not going to give too much away, but Reed knows.
Stay tuned. Anyways, I'm going to go have a snack.
Right, thank
you,
Reed, for joining me. Say thanks, Reed. Bye.
Peace out, everybody. Sorry for screaming into the microphone. I was just getting a little heated.
I know. Every time you would talk, it would get red on the meter. Okay, so let's answer some of your questions. Okay. You guys are awesome. Okay, so we got audio for cheap. LMAO, I agree. Distribution is the biggest scam ever made. It actually is.
Just give us an upload.
It is. It really is.
Just give us an upload.
Yeah, Nikki says, I prefer physical copies. Call me old school. I enjoy physical copies as well. But you have to remember, making physical merch costs money. You actually have to spend money to make money in a lot, actually in any business, but making physical merch and physical copies of CDs and stuff, that is, you actually have to make something physical, which costs money. And personally for me, I prefer selling digital downloads and digital products because that's just something that I've been involved in ever since I released my sample packs on Splice. And for me, it's a lot easier because when I tried selling physical merch, my cat's playing around with the toy. Wait, let me see. Want to say hi? Look at this, my cat
Marco. Oh, he doesn't like being on camera, but he's so cute though. Say hi, Marco.
All right, see ya. Anyway, selling physical merch. Once again, if you go back to part 2 of my Spotify deleted my album documentary, I talk a lot about merch and about my horrible experience with the merch company that ghosted me after creating all of this merch and fulfilling orders for the first 3 months. They disappeared, stopped fulfilling orders. And then a couple years later, which was last August, I sign into my Spotify account and I see my old merch from this company that ghosted me for sale on my Spotify page, because now you can connect your Shopify. And I was like, what the hell? I thought these guys just disappeared. And so I finally got in contact with somebody because I was able to trace back the company that was connecting my old store to Spotify. And it was just a big pain in the ass, but yeah, they never sent me accounting. I never got paid for any of the merch that was sold. I finally get in contact with them 4 years later, and we just made a deal where they sent me all of my, excess merch that wasn't sold yet in exchange for them just keeping the accounting. And, I tried selling it on my own, but I learned that I have a lot of overseas fans. So all of these people were ordering merch from different countries, and the shipping costs were just outrageous. And I tried. I sent out a couple things and I was like, I literally can't afford to continue doing this because it's just so much to ship it. So I've been doing kind of giveaways to my biggest fans and supporters, and just sending in the US. I will only ship out my merch to people in the United States. So yeah, it's just physical merch. There's always some obstacles that you gotta hash out, and you gotta take into consideration the cost of making that merch, whether that be physical CDs or clothing, and then shipping it. And yeah, unfortunately, I got stuck with a really messed up situation in a company that just was disrespectful. So I haven't had any good luck with physical merch, but my digital merch is awesome and changed my life in the most beautiful ways. And actually, I prefer selling digital downloads because it's useful to people. When you download my vocal template and you are able to get a great sounding vocal right off the bat, you get to watch the course on how to set it up yourself and how to use the plugins and all that. To me, that's more fulfilling because it's actually, helping you in your creative process. And that's what I'm passionate about. I've always been passionate about helping people and showing people different ways to, kind of hone in their signature sound. So I definitely prefer selling digital downloads, but not music. I'm not trying to sell music anymore. I've done it. I've tried. I've actually signed a major publishing deal. I lived in Los Angeles for 8 years until I moved to Vegas. I'm in Vegas now. And while I was in Los Angeles, I was doing hundreds of sessions. So I have worked with a lot of artists. I've written songs for a lot of different artists. I've vocal produced a lot of singers. And while I had a lot of amazing experiences, and I value all of my, experiences and collaborations, the lifestyle itself was too much for me. I really wanted to simplify my life. You have to think, when you're living in Los Angeles, you have to drive around to all these different studios, and you got to manage all these different personalities. And then when you invest so much of your time into something, and then at the last minute, it either falls through, or when you get to the negotiation part, and all of these powerful people are forcing you to accept a terrible split. They don't want to pay you. It just was exhausting. And so I would basically be waking up to a different disaster every single day in my email inbox. And I'm a very sensitive person, I admit. I had a hard time with that. Waking up every day to put out another fire. I had many legal battles. So has Reed. I mean, there have been so many situations where people just did not want to pay us for our work. We had to go into many legal battles with high profile people, and it just wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth it to me. And it really put a bad taste in my mouth when it comes to the industry as a whole, because you only see from the outside looking in, you see all this exciting stuff, all this great music, all this whatever, blah, 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 flashy, blah. And then what it's like on the back end in real life, it's just people exploiting other people, taking advantage of them, being rude and condescending and manipulative and narcissistic. And it wasn't worth it. So I'm so much happier doing my own thing. I've built a beautiful life, a beautiful studio, a beautiful YouTube channel that, I'm able to support myself with, a beautiful business. I'm KARRA.com. And I get to do it with my husband, which is awesome. I couldn't be happier with this situation. Yes, it took a lot to get here, but it really, truly was all worth it. All right, let me see what you guys are saying. Glum Reaper says Body to Body is that bop. I know. I love that song so much. And you know what? There were a lot of bops on the album, and don't worry, because I am currently working on a lot of content that is utilizing my album songs. So the album didn't die. It didn't die completely. It's still going to be featured in videos on my channel. I just haven't gotten to it yet because after making these documentaries, I needed a breather, and I needed to step away from the album because it did cause me a lot of stress and a lot of pain. And while I'm grateful for it happening this way, because I see the silver, there is a silver lining in every, difficult situation, I did have a hard time navigating it emotionally. So now I'm on the other side, and I took a break from it so I can come back stronger and I can actually give my album justice. And I'm very excited because I'm working on another documentary right now. And I'm going to be walking you guys through the filming of an entire music video, but it's not going to just be the music video. It's going to be an entire documentary on how I created the music video. So I'm very excited about that. All right. Let me see what you guys are saying. What's up, guys? Oh. Yeah, I don't Print Titan says, okay, you're scaring me now. I don't mean to scare you. I really don't. I just want to be truthful. If I'm going to be a person of honor and truth, I have to speak my truth. And while I can't give you guys details of every situation, I can at least tell you the gist of what has happened in both mine and Reed's careers. And I think it says a lot to for me and Reed to go from being in the industry and working with all these different artists to separating ourselves to build our own business, our own career, our own lives. There was a reason for that. If everything was peaches and cream, I would still be doing what I was doing. I would still be writing for people. I would still be recording people. I would still be everyone's bitch because that's exactly what I was. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. As a vocal producer, I dealt with a lot of fake people that only became my friend so that they could, have a career in music. And I had to navigate really difficult situations like that. And I'm a real person. First of all, I'm not perfect. I'm the first to admit that I have made so many mistakes. I'm not perfect, but what I am is real and truthful. And what you see is what you get. And that's just not the case for most people in this industry. And it's really sad because there have been so many people that I was so inspired by and that I finally got a chance to work with, and I was working with them, and then they turned out to be such scumbags and douchebags and liars and cheaters and manipulators. And it's just like, no, thank you. I'm good. You don't inspire me anymore. I inspire myself. I'm inspired by what Reed and I are doing, what we have built, and we pass that inspiration on to you guys, the viewers, the world, by being truthful and by educating and having fun and actually being a light in a really, cruel world. So yeah, I'm all about positivity and loving people and sharing and spreading that love. And I wouldn't have it any other way. So there is absolutely a reason why I went independent and I chose YouTube over the music industry. And I would still consider myself a part of the music industry. I mean, look at what I'm doing. I'm making music. But I just found a different way of supporting myself independently so that I didn't have to continue to sign all of these predatory deals. So I didn't have to be controlled and manipulated and told what I can and cannot do and what I can and cannot say. So I'm very much, a believer in truth and independence. And that's how I live my life. And even if that means that I don't get the millions and millions of subscribers and followers and the millions and millions of dollars, I don't care. I don't care. As long as I can support myself and my family and I can actually bring something that's useful and positive and inspiring to the world, then I'm good. All right, let's see. Okay, so Q Dog says, "Hey, Kara, I also lost over 100,000 streams on Spotify due to it getting taken down for artificial streams, when I damn well know I've never paid for anything like that ever." Q Dog, I am so sorry. That is awful and so disappointing and so discouraging. And I am, the silver lining in all of this is that you are not alone. I've also experienced that myself, and yeah, I'm happy to be a vessel, a voice, a person that actually is bringing attention to the exploitation of artists like us. So I'm really sorry that happened to you, but I hope that you can find it in you to continue, find another way, whether that be YouTube or whatever floats your boat. Just find another way. Yeah, I exactly. Reed just said at this point, we're basically a community of artists that have been deleted. Deleted. The truth behind Spotify and all the artists that have been deleted. Yeah, it's crazy. I'm really sorry that happened to you. Okay. All right, so Print Titan says, "Not trying to be funny, but real talk. You two made me want to get my very own puppet." Oh, that's really sweet. I love that. I mean, honestly, any time Reed and I can inspire you to do anything, whether that get a puppet or just start making music for fun, then we are all for it. Okay, so Vladimir says, "How much does it cost in LA to record vocal parts for someone?" So how much does it cost? Well, being that nobody wants to pay you, it costs $0. No, on a serious note, it's very difficult to get paid as a vocal producer. And this is kind of circling back to what I was saying before, how a lot of people pretended to be my friend and a lot of people took advantage of my studio and my time and my skills and my talents because they wanted to get their stuff recorded, but they didn't want to pay for it. And so I have dealt with a lot of situations where I got paid $0 for the work that I've done. In fact, I probably have not gotten paid for a majority of my work, which is sad, but it's just the truth. But for the gigs that I did get paid for, I've gotten anywhere from $300 to $500 for a song. It's really not much. And if you are in this position where you are recording people, I feel for you because it's really a challenge, because I think people forget that producers are the ones that have to buy the equipment. We have to sit here and we have to fine tune and edit and comp and make your vocal sound good. And when I say a lot of these vocalists do not sound good, they do not sing on pitch, and you have to literally do magic. And it takes a lot of time to make that magic happen. And a lot of people disrespect that time. Disrespectful, once again. The theme, the theme of this live stream is disrespectful. Being disrespectful. Yeah. So once again, I'm just speaking truth here. And so they don't consider those things. They just see, oh, a pretty amazing vocal. Woo, magic. Yeah, that must have cost no time or effort or money at all to make. But no. It does, actually. It takes a lot of time, effort, and money to get good at vocal recordings and music production. So, and I've been in both shoes. So when I first started in the music industry, I had no idea how to produce. In high school, I would record my own little songs in GarageBand, but that was basically the extent of what I've done production-wise. And so I had, an interest, and I was always willing to work hard. That is one thing about me, is I am a very hard worker. If there is a skill that I need to, get good at to achieve something, then I will spend the time to learn that skill. And so that's exactly what I did throughout my entire career. So anytime I needed to level up, that's when I put in the work. I sacrificed my social life. I made, like I said, made sacrifices to be able to get good at something. And so it took me a while to get good at vocal production. And it was a couple years into living in Los Angeles and having to be at the mercy of other vocal producers and other producers and not having any control over any of my work. And it got to a point where I just got tired of that. And so I decided to take matters into my own hands and, buy my own studio, learn how to do it myself. And I actually got really good at it. And so that's how I ended up recording all of these other singers and, doing top lines for DJs and stuff. But, at the end of the day, I wanted to get paid like a producer, I mean, listen, it's the entire industry. I'm not saying that producers have it easy, because they definitely don't. I think in different, sectors of the industry, everybody has like a different, issue. So, but I was mostly in EDM, which is producer focused, and the producers are the stars, and the producers run the show, and they're the ones getting paid and doing the stuff. So I saw that, and I desired that life for myself. I didn't want to be at the mercy at all of these other people all the time and and basically just be a couch princess. I couldn't stand that. Like, I would go into these sessions, I would write and sing and do all this, and then I would just be sitting on the couch watching somebody else do the work, and I just didn't like that. I wanted to record my own vocals. I wanted to have my own studio. And so that's what we did. When I moved in with Reed, that's exactly what we did. And it was not easy. Like, a lot of people look at what we have now and think that it just kind of plopped into our laps. No. This is over a decade of work put into this. And then when it comes to the album, the reason why I invested in video crews was because I wanted to learn how to make my own high quality videos. I mean, do you guys not see my YouTube channel? Do you not see the quality that we put into every single YouTube upload? The only reason why the quality is where it's at is because I invested in all of those high quality music videos and visuals. But the difference is I didn't just pay these people to do it for me. I was involved. I was involved in every single fucking step, okay? And that's why I learned how to create a high quality visual for my own YouTube channel. So now Reed and I just basically run my YouTube channel on our own. And we just recently started hiring a team of editors to help with Reed's channel. I don't like to send my footage out to strangers. I just I've done that before when I didn't know how to edit my own videos, and I personally didn't like that because of the fact that I had, once again, no control over the edit, and then it was just always back and forth and trying to. I know my face, my body. I know what I want. I basically know what I want to see, and I know the angles that I like of myself. And so taking my footage and then like tossing it off to somebody else just didn't make sense. And so that's why I learned how to edit my own videos. And once again, I'm very, very, very happy that I invested in a video editor to come here in-house to teach me. And now we use DaVinci Resolve and we edit all of our YouTube videos ourselves. Like I said, we just started sending Reed's videos out to get help with the editing on his videos, but I'm currently doing everything myself on my channel. And so basically Reed and I have a little system. So we film my videos and then I will do the main edit and then bring in B-roll, whatever needs to be added to that edit. And then Reed helps me finalize the edit. So I'm basically doing the whole thing, and then I have Reed come in at the end, and he helps me finalize it all. Because Reed's really good at the little tiny detail edits and like the effects and the timing of things. So he's really great at that. So yeah, we have a system. It's a lot of work, but I love it. I love it. And I have full control over it. And I don't have to split it with a manager, an agent, a team of people. And I have tried to build a team. I have tried, and it turned out to be an absolute disaster. This is a live stream of just realness and truth because, oh my God, I have been through so much when it comes to building teams and trying to build things with people. And I have to say, I had one manager for 8 years. He was awesome. I loved him. Me and David, his name is David Lovett. Shout out to David Lovett. He was great. I actually met him when I first moved out to Los Angeles, and he was fantastic because, first of all, he was just a good, genuine person, and I could trust him. I really trusted him, and he was fantastic with me. You know, I am very animated, I'm emotional, I'm passionate, and he knew exactly how to, you know, help me with all of my big emotions and all of the struggles, the wins, the losses. He was a great companion and just person to have on my team and supporting me. And so he was the guy who helped me kind of get my footing in Los Angeles, and he set me up on all of these amazing sessions. And I wrote all these amazing songs and got to do a lot. He helped me with Splice and all that stuff. So I did have a manager. And then when I started to make content and I built my website and I started doing, you know, deals with brands, and I started making my album and wanted to really go for this artist career, that was when we decided to part ways. But it was very amicable. And we are still good friends. I went to his wedding. He's fantastic. We still talk all the time. And yeah, so it's not like I haven't had, you know, a team. You know, I definitely appreciate David and what we have built together. But this next phase of my life definitely required me to kind of dig deep and really figure things out on my own. And I still attempted to get signed to a label. I attempted to find a bigger management team because, I'm sorry, one manager that's really, really talented when it comes to sync and putting people in sessions and stuff. It's not the same type of manager that artists have for like their artist careers. And so I understood that and I knew that. And I was looking for just like a higher level of help and also connection and, you know, just things like that. It's just like a natural evolution. And so that didn't work out for me. I got very close. I got very close to signing a really big management situation, but it just didn't work out. And that's okay. And then I tried to build a creative team, and that ended up being a complete disaster because after a couple months of, you know, paying these people a lot of money to help me create content, I realized that they were actually more interested in pimping me out on OnlyFans. And I realized that after a couple months, there were a lot of red flags, and I just was not having it because I'm not a sex worker. Like, I don't know on what planet these people thought that I was going to allow them to pimp out my body on OnlyFans and profit off of my body. I don't know why these people thought I would do that, but they did, and they tried. They tried very hard to control my life and to do awful things. And so, yeah, after that experience, that was actually during my album release, and it was very traumatic for me. Let's just say that. It was very traumatic, and I almost got to a point, I reached a breaking point. It was the darkest time in my life because I trusted these people, and I really thought that I was building something of substance, and that was actually going to really elevate my career, and it actually ended up being the opposite. But I'm grateful for that because in life you need contrast. So through that situation, I was able to learn all of the different manipulation tactics and see all the red flags and know what to look out for in the future. And it was a great comparison to kind of just realize what I don't want in a team and what I do want. And I've realized that I'm actually not somebody who wants a team. I don't want a team. I don't want anyone telling me what to do, what to wear, what to look like. There have been so many people in my life that have just forced their will onto me, and I don't like that. I don't appreciate that, and there have been a lot of situations that I had to, free myself from because I realized after, a couple months, a couple years, what these people's intentions were. And so, yeah, that's the music industry for you, though. Or not even just the music industry. The entertainment industry is like that. So you really have to be careful. There's a lot of scammers. There's a lot of really bad people with really bad intentions for you. And I've had to learn that the hard way a million times. And it's like such a traumatic thing to even talk about because I was fearful for my life, actually. I was really scared because these people really went for it. And I kind of was just stuck in this situation that I was like, oh my God, what is happening? This is not what I signed up for. What the hell is going on? And I had to claw my way out of this and be strong and, completely take ownership and control of my life. And that was when I realized that maybe a team wasn't for me. And I'm actually much happier now just being on my own. And it's sad because I had good intentions, pure intentions with every single person that I've worked with in my life. And I just feel like there have been so many people that just didn't match that energy. They weren't pure with me. They had other plans that, I never wanted to be a part of. So it was stressful. It was very stressful. And so when I talk about, this whole story, and when you watch my documentary of how Spotify deleted my album, you're only seeing a glimpse of just a little tiny percentage of the issues and the obstacles that I was facing at that time. I didn't dig into all the personal stuff and all the mental health struggles that I was dealing with because I had horrible people around me. It was way more intense and way darker than anyone will ever know. And the reason why I'm even sharing this whole OnlyFans situation with you guys now, and I want to be more open with this and talk more about this because a lot of girls fall into this trap with people in the industry, and we're very trusting. And, obviously I'm not gonna, first of all, I'm a very humble person. I'm not saying this to sound like a freaking douchebag, but I know I'm a beautiful woman. I have a beautiful body. I like to showcase that beauty, and I consider that art, but there's a limit to what I'm willing to do. And I was very clear about that the whole time. And I don't like when people try and push their agenda and their will onto me. It's totally unacceptable. So I'm actually very proud of myself because I came out the other side stronger, wiser, more intelligent, more stable and secure in who I am. And I realized that I don't need to look for anything outside of myself. I have everything that I need right here, baby. So yeah, let me look at some of your because I kind of went on a tangent. So anyway, what I was alluding to is that I do want to protect other women from a situation like this because, yeah, you can make a lot of money on OnlyFans, but is it worth it? You know, like, and I'm not a judgmental person. If you want to do OnlyFans, that's fantastic. If that's what makes you happy, then I support you. You know, I understand that everybody has different, you know, ways of living and different, you know, interests and whatever. But I personally would like to see more women be, you know, more involved in technology and producing their own music on camera and not have to resort to sex work. And I don't like the fact that people just assume because you're a beautiful woman in the industry that you're a sex worker. Like, that's ridiculous. And it's unacceptable. And it's so dangerous. And I have been in so many situations where I have been physically and sexually assaulted by people in the industry, at festivals. And I've kind of touched on it on some content here and there. But, you know, more people need to be aware of this because as a young girl who's impressionable, you're in spaces with other people who are intoxicated or on substances, or really they don't care about you and your career. They care about having sex with you, and they care about pimping you out. And I really want to save people from those situations. I'm very passionate about that. And I've also had situations where big corporations exploited my trauma and publicized it for the whole world to see as a story. And I'm not going to name any names about any of this stuff because I'm not here to start drama. But it is my story. It's my truth. And I know that other women have also dealt with the same types of situations. And I personally, like, I want more for women. I want more confidence for women in, like I said, in technology and in music production so that they don't have to resort to, you know, maybe something that would be harmful to them. So yeah, I'm very, very passionate about that. Yeah, creeps are in both genders. Yeah, no, I agree. Trust me, the people that were trying to pimp me out on OnlyFans, that was a man and a woman. Okay? I am not excluding women from the creep category at all. At all. I actually have had some of the worst experiences in my career have been with women. And it's so sad to say that, but it's true. And unfortunately, jealousy is a big thing, envy. You know, a lot of people will look at what you have and see your life and want what you have, and so they'll do anything to swap destinies with you, steal your energy, steal what you have going on and take advantage of that. So yes, men and women are both equally and can equally be creeps. So trust me, I'm not excluding women. All right, so let me look at some of your comments because I've been ranting and raving. Master Devin says, I'm independent too. Shout out to my independent peeps. Matthew Pereira, sorry if I'm butchering your name. That's disgusting. I agree. It is disgusting. And, you know, this is something, since I am being so truthful and open with you guys, I don't know, I feel open. I feel like I'm just kind of letting the truth come out. I am someone who has struggled with suicidal thoughts my entire life. And it's because I've always felt different. I've always felt like I was not meant to be here in a way. and I had a really hard time fitting in. You know, I'm one of those people that has been very, very, very focused on my art, my craft, my skills, my music, and I don't do as well in like social settings. You know, not that I'm not social, I am, but I really struggled with peer pressure and being a people pleaser. And, you know, these are all things that I've healed within me. So I'm good now. But yeah, I struggled with depression. I've struggled with suicidal thoughts. And when I released my album and all of this stuff was going on with these people, on top of my album just being so difficult because I was funding it all myself, I was doing everything for the first time, so I ran into so many different obstacles. I got to a point that was so dark that I truly did not want to continue. I really wanted to give up on life, but I didn't. I really just, I kept going because I knew that there was a greater plan. And when, and it's just so funny because that moment was what changed everything for me, because I was like, wow, I actually am a lot stronger than I even knew. And I think that's the beauty in those moments. Even though they're really difficult, you come out the other side just stronger and wiser and more motivated to do good in this world, to help people through those things, because you know what it's like to be depressed, to not want to be here, to want to give up. So I hope that you guys can feel that passion and fire inside of me whenever I post and whenever I'm live streaming or talking and stuff. I'm doing this for a purpose. I'm doing it for a purpose, and it's because I know that there are other people out there that have had the same struggles as me, that have felt alone, that have felt like they don't fit in. And I want to be a community and a place where where all of us can come together and actually love each other and support each other and learn from each other. So yeah, that's a little story. Okay, so Colette says, the OnlyFans story needs to be heard by every young artist. I agree. It can be like a frog in a boiling pot with that stuff, and it's way too common in the music industry. Colette, I agree with you 100%. And that's why I am becoming, you know, I was really afraid to start sharing that story, because I don't know how people are going to like view me, even though it wasn't my doing. I do post, you know, I do make, you know, sexual songs, and I am, like I said, I'm a sensual being, you know, that is part of my energy. That's my vibe. I enjoy that. But there's a line, you know, I'm putting myself out there for the sake of art, for the sake of embodying my true essence, not to sell kitty cat. on OnlyFans. And like I said, if you want to do that, go for it. But I wish, I want more for women. I really do. I really do. Okay. Marble, hello from Turkey. What up? We got a worldwide bunch, and I love that. All right. Yeah, Colette says, there's nothing sexier than someone working within their own boundaries. Yes, I agree. And I do want to drive this point home. I have nothing against being sexual and owning it and being sexy and wearing what you want to wear and showcasing what God gave you. Like, in my opinion, art includes your mind, your body, your soul, your spirit, your energy. It's all of these things combined. And so I do take my body seriously. You know, I work out, I eat healthy. I want to make sure that my body looks good and it feels good, and I can dance and I can have that stamina. You know, it's part of it. It's like, there are so many aspects of what you see from artists and content creators that you don't really think about. So it is a beautiful thing, and bodies are beautiful, and they should be, you know, honored, you know? But yeah, boundaries are so important. And that was, oh my God, that was one of my biggest issues, was actually having boundaries and, you know, enforcing boundaries with people. And like being a recovered people pleaser, I really struggled with boundaries. Like I had zero boundaries at all. And probably up until all of this stuff happened with my album release, like that was the wake up call that I needed to be like, whoa, you need to have boundaries. You are the artist. It's your money. You are not going to be controlled by random people that know nothing about the music industry, that were complete frauds. Like, no, absolutely not. So yeah, I'm actually really, really happy that, you know, I went through that, because I have boundaries now and I know how to enforce them. I know what I want to do. Nobody can tell me anything to tell me otherwise. And I got to do it with my husband, who I feel safe with, who I honor, who I built this with. And yeah, the music industry can definitely get, you know, there's a lot of like gray areas. It can get blurred lines because, you know, there's a lot of people that, you know, you meet and that you have connections with and that you are creating art with. And music is very intimate, you know? You really have to you know, personally for me, I've worked with so many people that I realized, you know, after a couple of years, that I really wanted to just like have like a few people that I was making music with, because when I was working and swapping energy with like all these different people, I felt very drained. And so I really just wanted to focus on like a select few people. And so that's kind of where I'm at now. You know, I have a few people that I will go to for certain aspects of my career and to, you know, make, you know, music with, but that's it. You know, I needed to have boundaries, because I was one of those people that just like I said, I didn't have any boundaries. So I was just doing whatever and saying yes to everything. And it destroyed me in a lot of ways. It made me ill and sick and stressed out. Like I had so much stress, like just completely blocking my ability to do anything. Like I can't even tell you how many times I've been sent to the hospital for like panic attacks and my body just shutting down. So I'm really happy to finally have a balanced lifestyle that works for me, because you have to remember, we're all different. You know, I prefer being on my own and running my own YouTube channel, because I get to just do what I need to do to keep myself healthy and happy. So yeah, thank you for the water, Reed. I'm just like, I've been yapping. Oh my God. But this is important stuff. And I don't get to talk about this stuff in my content normally, because, you know, my videos that I make are very much, they're well thought out. They're very, you know, curated and produced. And I love doing that because it helps me get a clear, concise message out there. But I really like these live streams so that I could just talk about whatever. Do we have a puppet coming in to say something?
Yeah, I would just like to say music distribution needs to get the hell out of here, because honestly, we are tired of this highway robbery. Just give us an upload button on Spotify and this whole industry will be over with. We don't need them. Yeah. Get the highway robbers out of here. Distribution should be dunstribution. We don't need it anymore. Just give us an upload button on Spotify. Give us an upload button on Apple Music. Get the middlemen out of here. And 50% off at wholeloops.com too. Thank you.
Thank you. That entire time, you were in the red. We needed a puppet reset, guys. Oh my God. Hot, hot, hot. Did everyone's eardrums just get blasted? Oh my God, I love it. I love it. Whew. I'm sweating under this, by the way. But I am not going to stop with my disrespectful Sweatshirt. This is just how I feel about Spotify and DistroKid. Disrespectful as hell. Oh my God. Jamaica news. I just want to say thank you, KARRA, for your tutorials, vocal packs, and templates. A lot of big name Jamaican music producers watch and appreciate your content. That is so awesome. Okay, Jamaica is on one of my lists. Like, I have to go to Jamaica. Oh, we should do that soon, Reed. We got to go to Jamaica. What a beautiful country. I just want to go. I want to go. I love the islands so much. Okay, so Elliot, I'm thinking of buying a Telefunken ELM 250. I'm trying to up my mic game for real. Yeah, Telefunken's my favorite mic, so I recommend it for sure. Johnny Violet, do you plan on making money on the social media side mainly now? Yeah. I mean, like I said, I still have my old catalog that's generating money, and while I'm not in my old publishing deal, I still get paid twice a year for my old catalog. So, and I also get like master royalties on some of the songs that have like a ton of streams. So yeah, I will get paid, royalties still. But for the most part, I just make money through content, brand deals, YouTube AdSense, and my affiliate links, and also my website. Yes. All right. We said South Africa is amazing too. Yes. Oh my gosh. So many places I want to go to. South Africa. I actually have a lot of African fans, and that makes me so happy because I did a 23andMe test, and my DNA actually traced back to Egypt. So the homeland. I think we're all derived from Africa at some point. So I really appreciate Africa, and I would love to visit. I really would. Hey, KARRA, following all the way from Kenya. Speaking of Africa. Well, my question is, what is the future of the music industry? Musicians and the listeners, as far as putting the music out there, is concerning. Yeah. You know what? I don't really know what the future of the music industry is, because it changes on a daily basis, I feel like. And it's really hard to keep up with. And I understand that if you want to be an artist or a producer, or you want to exist, within the streaming sphere, then yeah, you got to put music out on streaming services. But there is always a chance for them to delete it. As we now see. That's what happened to me. So I feel like, for me personally, the future for me is YouTube. God willing, nothing happens to YouTube. If YouTube goes down, then, we're shit out of luck. But what I can say about YouTube is that it's been around for a very long time. There have been very few changes. Obviously every platform changes and evolves, but YouTube has been the most stable, and I don't see how Spotify is going to survive this whole situation. Reed's back.
Okay, I'm a little more chill now. I went and had a beverage, and I just feel just more stable overall. But what you were saying about YouTube is absolutely true. How many social media platforms do you know that have survived longer than a decade?
That's what I'm saying. YouTube has been around the longest, right?
Not only the longest, but it's doing better than ever. They just surpassed Netflix in subscribers.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay, so for us, the future is YouTube.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And a lot of artists want their work in a platform that non-artists use. And I think that's the issue with Bandcamp, and that's the issue with, what was the other, BandLab. And
yeah.
It's like you're mostly posting it to artists, and like that's
Right.
okay, but there's a lot of
Right.
people that don't want their work just going out to artists. They want it going out to regular people. And I think YouTube has the most regular people.
Yeah, definitely. And also, I think we're in a phase where people are a little bit burnt out on short form content. They want some depth and substance.
Absolutely. And I think
Yep.
long form content that retains has been seeing an uptick in the algorithm.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, your channel's been seeing an uptick in the algorithm
For
in
sure.
general. So
Yeah.
we've been having viewership, at least on your channel, better than ever
Yeah.
in the last year.
Yeah.
But we try really, really, really hard when we make your videos. So
We do. We put a lot of effort into each upload. And I talked a little bit about this before, but I prefer it that way because I am a really deep person. I like to, just express myself in every aspect. I am not just a singer. I have a personality. I like to crack jokes. I like to dance. I like to do a lot of different things, produce, So I feel like YouTube is just the perfect platform for me to be able to express myself.
Right. It's almost like a limited way of expressing yourself on music platforms because you just get a still picture and audio. And that just, I feel like as a culture, that's just kind of low stimulation compared to a video with music.
Yeah, I agree. So I feel like we've found a really great way to tie in music with personality, with storytelling.
And still
with
be artists.
Dance. Yeah.
Like this
I'm
isn't,
still an artist.
Right. People hear I'm no longer uploading music to Spotify and they think, oh, you're no longer. No.
I'm still an artist.
We're just doing our artistry in this other place.
Right. And there's nothing wrong with that. So, a lot of people were very, very judgy and, there's always going to be something that someone says.
I mean, it's also easy to misunderstand, and I'm sure there's a language barrier too.
Yeah.
Like that could be synonymous.
Oh, for sure.
Right? It's easy to understand why people would think that. We're not like condemning that opinion. But.
Exactly. I do. I really understand. Actually, the documentary was a great place for a lot of people to come together to share their opinions and what they, thought that I could do better, or what I did wrong, or what I did right. And it was actually a really cool case study.
Right. And it was nice to see what people prefer, or like everyone says, oh, well, this is where the money is. And a lot of people maybe had a skewed vision of what touring was like, because a lot of people said touring is where all the money is. So we in part 2, we specifically tried to unveil a little bit of the expensive side of touring and why it's not always peaches and profits.
Peaches and profits, I like that.
Yeah. Next KARRA album, it's instead of Beauty and the Boss Part 2, it's going to be Peaches and Profits.
I love that.
Clip it. Somebody clip this.
I can't. That's so funny. I love that. Peaches and profits.
Yep.
Yeah. And that, it goes to show that we are just ultimately creative people, and we like to be creative, but we are also adaptable.
Right.
So we always have to move with,
Right. For example, like I just had an album idea, but then I remembered, oh, I'm on Livestream. So we have to just keep the conversation going instead of harping on peaches and profits.
Exactly. That's going to be my new song in my session.
That's the whole album drop right there.
Peaches and profits. I like that. Yeah. So I think actually, why don't you talk a little bit about, since you're here, adaptability?
Okay, so adaptability is basically step 1 in the music industry. It used to be like step 10 was like after you do all your stuff and then you get known for something and then you kind of like climb and grow and have your audience. Then later on you adapt. Adapt moved from step 10 to step 1 recently. So now adapt has kind of been like, what is going on with the times currently? What do I do? And how can I possibly effectively insert myself into that? Or do I want to just lean into my obscurity? For example, my channel, I'm not going to lie, it's a little obscure watching a puppet wire up an audio interface and plug a bunch of crap into a desk. I'm not going to even lie to you. It's obscure. So you have to say, like, am I leaning into a trend? Am I leaning into my obscurity? And I think there's room for both. And it's just all about adapting with the times, just like we are recognizing that video platforms are growing in a time when music platforms are shrinking. Yeah,
and I think we are perfect examples of adaptability because I personally wasn't a YouTuber or interested in doing YouTube, but luckily I had Reed. And
I started in 2012, posting remixes as DJ Ridiculous. And it was all remixes of top 40 songs. And that naturally got me in the search engines and the suggestion thing way earlier. But I decided, you know what? This is low-hanging fruit. Everyone can make a remix of Call Me Maybe. I'm going to make original music. Even if I get 0 views, I don't care. I'm going to adapt and do something that's a little more future-proof, because at that was the time when like the early copyright strikes and like
started,
you like 3 strikes and you're out. That was like a new thing. Trust me, I've been on YouTube since 2012, so I've seen some changes.
Oh yes, and also I was there when you were posting your tutorials. I helped you with those tutorials.
Absolutely, and if you go back and look at my first tutorials and the comments on it, everyone's saying, Where'd DJ Ridiculous go? Who is this guy that bought the DJ Ridiculous channel? Did DJ Ridiculous sell his YouTube channel to a puppet? What the hell's going on here? And the answer is yes, he did. He put it up for sale. He decided he didn't want anymore, and I'm the person who purchased it.
Yeah, so me and Reed have been making YouTube videos for his channel for years. And then Reed encouraged me to start my own channel. And I was hesitant at first because I was like, I want to be a real artist.
Right, and there was a big stigma of being a YouTuber versus being an artist. And being a YouTuber was way lower on the totem pole.
Yeah.
And recently, I would almost argue that has flipped. Being a content creator, like you see artists now have to check in with content creators just to announce anything.
Yeah. They're paying content creators to use the songs and their content and
to announce an album, to announce a movie, to announce a video game, to announce anything. You have to check in with the content creator.
Yeah, content is king. And I just want to say I'm very grateful for you, Reed, for pushing me, and actually just believing in me and knowing that there was a future on YouTube for me. So thank you.
Absolutely. And thank you for helping me be as original as possible, because you inspired me to just embrace my individuality. And, if I'm a little bit obscure, that's okay.
We like obscurity in this household. Well, thank you, Reed, for your little pop-in.
Thank you. And can we get the distributors out of here? We just need an upload button on Spotify and an upload button on Apple Music, and all of this junk would be solved.
Yep.
Anyways,
suck it, distributors. Oh my God. Okay, so let's get back to this album situation, since that's what the what the live stream is supposed to be about. But we have a lot of love for you, Reed, in the chat. Dr. Doug says Reed Stefan is the puppet with serious game. Yeah, he does have game. I mean, he pulled me. Come on. Just kidding. You guys are so fun. Okay, so Dimebag Coin says reach out to Tom McDonald. Actually, Tom McDonald is a great example of somebody who is independent and, is absolutely killing it with his music career. And yeah, I definitely have a lot of respect for him and what he's been able to build on YouTube. So yeah, shout out to him. All right, so let's see. Daniel Maya says, good afternoon, KARRA. Good afternoon, my love. I see you in my comment sections. I appreciate you for watching, and you're so sweet. Thank you for being here. All right, so not sure if this was asked. Are you able to regain access to the visuals that was used by Spotify? Okay. I'm not sure exactly what you mean by that, but if you're referring to the visuals that I made for my album, I have full access, to my visuals and everything that I filmed during that time. So Spotify doesn't, have any control over what I can do with my own visuals. But now they changed the terms of use, and I don't know. I honestly checked out. I checked out on the Spotify game. So I'm not really even sure what the terms of use now are. But I know that we have a lot of people covering all of that news. And so if you are somebody that is still releasing on Spotify, just make sure you understand what you are participating in. So, yeah. All right. So honestly, I inferred that diehard talented DJ in extreme EDM genres hire ghost producers when either they themselves don't have the time to engineer or don't know how, but got the coin to buy their hit bangers. Yeah, you're absolutely correct. So actually, Reed was one of those ghost producers for a long time. And he did a lot of really amazing songs for people. And I have been a ghost producer myself. And, I have not been credited on a lot of the stuff that I've sang and vocal produced. So we understand the ghost production life very well. And first of all, if you are one of the top touring acts, it is a very, very, very difficult schedule. And I am the first to admit that. I've seen it firsthand. I have, a lot of friends that are touring constantly, so they do need support. They do need help with production. And, you know, I think that's okay. You know, you need collaboration. That's part of the music industry. You really can't do everything by yourself. But I do have a little bit of like a vibe towards the people that literally just buy everything and don't actually care about the music and don't contribute to the music at all. And they're just douchebags that want to be DJs, and because those people exist as well. So sorry. I'm really trying to find nicer words, but I can't when I'm talking about certain things. So, but I think that there is a time and place for ghost production, and like I said, if you're touring like that, you need help. You obviously can't do everything yourself. You got a crazy schedule. It's normal to have ghost producers helping you and facilitating your production and your songs and writing your songs. That's totally normal. But I feel like it's a little bit of a cop-out if you are not participating in the music creation at all. Like, you should at least be participating in the process somewhere. All right. So I thought it was interesting to see how much goes into making an album and promoting it. Great video, and now being recommended your live. Awesome. Thank you, Be Real. Oh, I love that name, Be Real. Yeah, I made this documentary not to brag or, you know, not to show like how much money I have and be snooty and snobby about it. I genuinely wanted people to see how much goes into creating a pop album, you know, by hiring the best mixing engineers and mastering engineers and doing actual visuals, you know. And of course, you can cut corners. You can use your iPhone to make visuals. You can use AI. You can do all these different things. I get it. I understand. I've seen all the comments. I know all of the, you know, all of the opinions that people have when it comes to all of the choices that I made. But I genuinely wanted to know what the product was going to be by, you know, following a similar path to the top artists in the world. Like, I really wanted to break as an artist. And in order to do that, you have to, you know, invest in yourself. You have to invest in professionals to some capacity. I know that there's always exceptions. I'm not saying that it's not possible to do everything on your own and not spend any money. Like, I get that things can naturally and organically go viral, but the majority of music and virality is paid for. It's manufactured. You guys don't realize what actually goes into a lot of these situations. In fact, I'm working on a new video right now, and it's a video, it's kind of like a documentary on how I turned hate, or how I use my hate comments to make a music career, because actually there's a lot of interesting ways that I used hate comments to birth new ideas and to build a career. But I touch a little bit on the fact that controversy and hate is necessary for success. You're never going to get around it when it comes to music and just being in the public eye in general. There's always going to be a level of controversy and hate and, you know, people making up lies and stories but like I said, it's necessary. And it's like one of the best publicity measures that you can take as an artist. And a lot of people manufacture drama. A lot of these artists, you know, they're like, hey, you got a tour coming up? I got an album coming up. Let's beef. Like, that's like, it's manufactured beef a lot of the time. I'm not saying it's like that every time, you know, but people actually manufacture these problems, beef, controversy, in order to get publicity. And in a lot of cases, bad publicity is good publicity, you know, and I'm not saying, you know, that it's the case in every scenario, but that is very true for a lot of people. So it's like one of the biggest tactics that you can use to get seen and heard. And yeah, so the problem is dealing with it emotionally. Yes. Hate comments was one of those things that I had to really develop like a thick skin and learn how to navigate emotionally, because I'm very sensitive. I've been bullied my whole life. And so I was kind of getting prepared for that. But it just gets worse the more, viral you get and the more followers you have. And there's just a lot of hateful people out there. And you really do have to learn how to be okay with that. And just understand that when you have all of that hate, like I would say my documentary garnered love and support and equally as much hate and controversy and judgment. And that to me is a success, because if it's all just happy, yay, love and support, you're not really triggering people in a way that you're going to be remembered. And I didn't make the documentary for the purpose of triggering people. I was literally just telling my story and putting it out there so that other people can digest it and, just see what other people in the industry are dealing with. And it ended up being a really big controversy. And a lot of people started making their, response videos to it, leaving their comments. A lot of people are making like little TikTok videos, like telling my story, which is fantastic, because at the end of the day, if you want an artist career or a content creation career or whatever in the public eye, it's actually a good thing when other people are talking about you. And this was the first time where I really experienced, a plethora of people making content about me and my story. And so that's a huge success. Yeah. Oscar says trauma is memorable. Yeah, it is. And it's also something that we can all kind of relate to. We all experience trauma. We all have things that we have to work through. We all have things to heal within us. And so when you are hearing another story of somebody else's trauma or just, things that they're dealing with, you can find some sort of relatability there. Because it just humanizes you as well. I am never going to be that artist that is going to have this pristine, perfect image. That's just not me. I'm going to be real. And real life means that there's trauma involved, that there's a lot of losses, there's a lot of things that you failed at. And I want to be somebody who's like an advocate for speaking freely about those things, because that's real shit. And people can hate and judge me all they want. I actually don't care. As long as it's not at a dangerous level to where I'm being like stalked or, harassed on a daily basis, I'm good with it. And I have had scary situations where I have been stalked and harassed, and that was not fun. But I was able to get through that. Actually, here's an interesting story. So I started making content, 10 years ago is like when I started making music and putting out stuff. So I started making these little posts called Advice by KARRA, and they were basically just these little talking videos on just me documenting my experience in the music industry. I was helping people with how to work with DJs, and I was just giving like tips and tricks on how to work in the music industry and the things that I've learned or that I was learning in real time. And so because of that, I attracted a lot of different types of people to my page. And there was one time where I was performing with Armin van Buuren at ASOT Live, and I got stalked and cornered into a bathroom from this person that wanted to work with me. And that was actually really scary, because I was getting messages from this person quite a bit, and I just felt something was a little off. And so I had to stop responding. And then that happened, and it made me really uncomfortable, very, very uncomfortable. And so I'm in one of those situations where I try not to tell people like where I'm at or where I'm going, because I've had other situations kind of similar to that. But anyway, hate is good as long as it's not on like a dangerous level where you are in harm's way, essentially. So anyway, just be careful. Like if you are someone who is posting online, you're gonna attract people of all walks of life, and that's beautiful. You know, triggering people is a good thing, even if it's like coming from a place of jealousy or envy or hatred for you. You're triggering those people for a reason, and that's what's going to invoke change in people, and maybe evolution and expansion in people, even if it's coming from a negative place. Because at the end of the day, you're not going to like everything that I say. You're not going to like everything that I do. There's probably a lot of things about me that, are not in agreement with your lifestyle, what you think, and what that's okay. That's what makes the world go round. But what I'm trying to say is that it's okay to trigger people. It's okay to be a source of change for people. And I think for me, I offer different perspectives because I have a unique story. I have a unique life, a unique perspective that I feel is necessary to share with the world. So that's why I do what I do, even though I've been in some scary situations because of it. I know that I'm protected. So, and also I've learned a lot from all these situations. I know when someone's being fake to me. I know when to invest in someone and when not to. I can pick up on all the red flags and all the signs. And you know what? Once you realize that the power is in your hands, you can actually avoid a lot of situations that are not ideal. Johnson says I attract scammers. So do I. Oh my God. I feel that hard. I definitely attract scammers as well. And I've had to learn that the hard way many times. Protected by who? Well, I feel like I'm spiritually protected. So I protect myself, and I feel like God is protecting me. And obviously Reed is very protective. My cats protect me. Actually, one of my cats sits at the front door all the time, and he's like a little protector bear. I love him. I learned from such experiences too. That's why I keep my baseball bat close. Yes. I love that. Yeah. I definitely have, certain things on me. Actually, here's a story for you guys. When I was living in Los Angeles, I would go to a lot of shows. And so I was going to a show at the Hollywood Palladium, and I had my pepper spray in my bag because I carried that with me everywhere. And I get to the front desk. What is this, doctor's office? I get to the front of the line, and they took my pepper spray. I was like, no, I need that to walk back to my car. So yeah, the music industry can be a little scary and dangerous, but I like to carry my weapons on me, just in case.
Usually she has me there to protect her now.
Yeah, yes.
No one's trying to mess with this.
No one's trying to mess with these muscles. Oh. I'm not gonna lie, that was kind of scary. So anyway, he's out. I'm having too much fun, you guys. My ear's popping. All right, I'm gonna maybe answer a couple of little questions and then sign off for the day. My ear's popping. What? I hate that. Because then I can't hear. Ugh, whatever. The realest puppet in the game. Yep. He sure is real. No, but seriously, Reed is very protective, and actually he has protected me from a lot of really scary stuff within the music industry, like different contracts. And the way that Reed protects me is by encouraging me to be independent. And he has built me up so much to the point where I'm very confident in myself now. Cause I wasn't before, I have to say. A partner that really loves you and builds you up is just priceless, because when you come from a place of not being confident in yourself and like hating yourself, you know, I really struggled with self-worth, all the things. Having him by my side was crucial and critical to my entire life, my entire career and trajectory. Because he was always the person that was like, no, you don't actually have to do those things. You don't have to work with these people if they're disrespecting you, if they're stealing from you. You don't have to do that. Just build your own thing, build your own world, make your own products, make your own website. And he was the person who did that for me. So that to me is protection, because I could have been in very, very bad situations. I could have been stuck in really bad contracts if it wasn't for him. So yeah. Sorry, my ears keep popping. So I really, really appreciate him. All right. Greetings from Uganda, East Africa. I love that. Greetings. Okay. So have you ever thought about creating a membership program here on YouTube? Yeah, I have thought about it. I've thought about it, but I'm not really sure if I'm going to do that, because then that requires like a whole new set of, you know, content. And I kind of just want my content to be available to everybody. And I don't want to have to make people pay to see my content. So that's why I have my website. And who knows, something can change in the future. But right now, I'm good with just my YouTube channel. That's Missy.
It's Missy on a ladder.
Oh, she looks so cute.
Wait, no, let me say hi. Hi, Missy.
Say hi to everybody.
Say hi to everybody.
I love you. Oh, she's purring. Okay, for those who don't know, I have 4 cats. And then I have 2 neighbor cats that come in and live with us. Because they became friends with our cats. So they're always here. LMAO, the way the ladder was dropped in. She levitated into my set. I'm a big animal lover. I love animals so much. They bring me so much peace, so much joy. And yeah, I just love animals so much. And eventually I'll have a kid, but I'm not ready for that yet. All right. Oh my God, this freaking ear. I love it. All right. You guys are so fun. I'm having so much fun on Livestream. I think I'm going to do another live stream maybe on Wednesday, so you can pop in. Maybe on Wednesday I'll do another vocal recording live stream. Okay. Oh, this is a great question. Johnny Violet. Was it worth it to get a music business degree? That's a great question. I would say that college wasn't necessary for what I do. And here's how I'll say it. I appreciate the life experience that I gained from college, but the classes and the courses and the actual degree was completely worthless, in my opinion, because the music industry changes so fast. We were reading a music industry book from like 20 years ago. It made no sense. I was recording on tape, which is fine. If you want to record on tape and you want to be like all nostalgic, go for it. But it made no sense for my career at all.
A lot of music universities, it's like you're paying to learn in a museum.
Yeah, for sure. And in a lot of cases, I feel like it's very scammy. You know, they just want your money. I hate to say it, but yeah, that's what a lot of colleges are. And for us, we're so creative that I don't think we necessarily needed the degrees. But I'm never going to be anybody to discourage anyone from education if they feel like it's necessary to their journey. Go for it.
We are very much in favor of education, all flavors of education. Mm-hmm. So if that's your preferred flavor of education, by all means.
Yeah. I feel like there was just like a lot of unnecessary classes that you had to take, and like I had a math stipulation because my SAT scores were so bad.
I had the same one. I had to take Math 101 twice.
So the two of us, terrible at math.
Yep.
But hey, we're rolling in dough now, so that's the only math I care about.
Right.
It's how much money I'm making.
Funny story about my university is I was not allowed in the music recording major. There was a music recording major at the university in New Jersey that I went to, but you had to audition with a musical instrument and major in a particular instrument. And I only knew how to cook up in Ableton. And I tried to explain to them. I was like, guys, I'm fire in cooking up in Ableton if you just give me a chance. And they said, no, that's not one of the listed instruments. It has to be a cello, a drum, a vocal, a trumpet or something like that. So I wasn't even allowed in the music recording building at all.
You couldn't even touch the door.
I could touch the outside of the door. It's just it wouldn't unlock when I touched it, like it would for everybody else who played an instrument.
Yeah. And I also was I went to Belmont University in Nashville. So
I majored in TV and film production.
Yeah. And I majored in music business with an emphasis in production. But as I said, the production classes, you learned how to like hook up a drum kit and record, with a million different microphones and use a board. And
to be fair, it was in Nashville.
Yes.
So like in New Jersey, New Jersey, they were probably doing that too, but with a little bit different intent. Like in Nashville, there is like country is the one genre of music that is keeping the drum kit in business.
Right.
Like and there's obviously a lot of hip hop drum loops in country music, but I'm going to go on a tangent. A lot of people ask, where did bands go? And I'd say that they disappeared when people stopped dancing to the acoustic drum kit.
Yeah.
And when songs stopped charting with acoustic drum kits in it. And the country is like the one genre where the acoustic drum kit to a degree never went away. But in every other genre, the acoustic drum kit kind of went away and got replaced by production and loops and samples and things that are like recordings of drum kits but manipulated by a computer. And that leads to the decline of a lot of recording studios because traditionally the drums were the only instrument that you needed a full studio to record well. Yeah. Most other instruments are quiet enough or less space consuming. They need less microphones, which need less preamps, which need less of a large console. Pretty much any other instrument you can effectively do in a well set up home studio, except for drums. Drums, you really need a lot of stuff because you got at least 12 mics and all the stuff to go with the mics to make them sound better so that it really sounds like radio ready drums,
Yeah. Yeah. So there are genres that do require that level of education and skill.
Yes. And it may be, with the popularity of AI, I would make a prediction that acoustic instrument performance and things that are less on the grid and things that are less produced feeling are going to make a major comeback because they give people that feeling of enjoying musicianship. And I think a lot of people and a lot of genres of music are going to be somewhat indistinguishable. And I think lo-fi hip hop was the first one where people are like, I have no clue if I'm listening to AI or not. And as AI gets more convincing and more advanced, I think more electronic production genres are going to kind of fall by that same kind of. Right. It's just kind of stuck in the mud.
Right. I think for me, I'm just not somebody who thrives in a classroom. And so when there's a curriculum and a system that I have to follow, I have a little bit of a harder time digesting information that way. So for me, it just was a difficult thing. But I learned a lot in my internships and actually working in the studios and working with producers and stuff outside of school.
I actually had it, as much as I could joke about not being allowed into the music recording department, I had an incredible audio professor over in the communications department that really gave me excellent assignments. He could tell that I already knew a lot about what was going on, so he gave me personalized assignments that would be challenging for me while everybody else was like learning how to make their first recordings in Pro Tools. Right. And so I
had some teachers too.
I had amazing professors that, looking back on it, that was an excellent mentor, and that opened the door for me to have other excellent mentors. Like I interned at a radio station because I was getting college credit for it. They would have never let me in the door if I wasn't a college student. Yeah. So I could list just as many good things as I could list bad things. So I don't want to seem like overly biased in one direction.
Oh, for sure. And I can say the same, that there were a lot of things that I got out of it as well. Like, for example, my school puts on these really big showcases. And that was the first time that I got dancers put together and, you know, produced my first EPs and auditioning for these different showcases and stuff. And while I didn't actually get into any of the showcases, I still learned how to put, you know, a production together in some sense.
Yeah, I had my fair share of flopped auditions and showcase denials too.
Yeah, I mean, come on, that's part of life, you know. Well, that was great insight. Thank you, Reed.
Yep, I just heard, and I just want to chime in. Thank you. And can we get distributors? I'm just kidding. I'm not going to go through that again.
Get out of here with that. I think we get the point. You guys are so funny. All right, let me look at some of these comments. Yeah, I think we're gonna get to a point where we're so AI'd out that we're gonna have a comeback with actual instruments, and I really hope. I can't wait for that day. Yeah, actual instruments type beat. Yes, it's like, oh yeah, so yeah, Ren or Ryren says, as creatives, school is such a prison. I do agree with you in a lot of ways. I felt a little bit trapped in some of those classes. But like I said, I guess it all serves a purpose, you know, and you know, life is what you make it, you know. If you have a good attitude and you work really hard and you do good by people, then you're going to get great results and you're going to feel good about yourself and you're going to learn things along the way, even if it's not, you know, even if you're not at the same level as somebody else, it doesn't matter. As long as you actually live your life to the fullest and you try and you put effort and care into what you are creating and into your vessel, you know, learning how to love yourself and take care of yourself is also a huge part of this too. So, you know, you don't want to be negative, you know, about just life and school and all this stuff. You just really, you know, you gotta take everything with, you know, a grain of salt. And yeah, there might be aspects of school that aren't necessarily enjoyable for you or beneficial for you, but there will be other aspects that are. So yeah. All right, I'm going back. KARRA, you look kind of sad, low key. Do I look sad? I'm actually not sad at all. I'm a little bit tired because I just got back from visiting family. So after visiting family, it's like, you know, it's a little bit of it's an activity for sure. But no, I'm not sad. I'm not sad at all. Actually, I'm the happiest I've ever been in my life and career, because now that I've had all of this, you know, traumatic stuff put behind me, I've been able to kind of recalibrate and figure out what my steps are moving forward. And while it was a lot for me to take in and to reevaluate and process, I'm actually, yeah, there were aspects of it that did make me sad, but right now I feel very hopeful and I'm excited for the future. I feel a big shift happening. And whenever I feel this shift, I know that something is right around the corner that's going to really click, you know? So I'm not sad, I promise. Yeah, family is draining, yes. Yes. I love my family so much, I do. But, you know, like you guys understand what it's like hanging out with family. It's an ordeal, you know? So I'm not sad. I'm just a little tired, that's all. And also, I do have to say that the documentary was a very challenging video for me to create. It was the first documentary I ever really made. While I've had some practice in making videos like that, it was the first time where I really went in and I collected footage from all of these different eras and I put a story together like that. So that was also very draining. and very difficult for me to get through because I was upset. When I woke up and I saw that my album was missing on Spotify and they actually took it down, I was upset. I was angry. I was pissed off. I was relieved. I was, passionate about creating this documentary and telling the story. So yeah, I was going through a lot. And it wasn't just for me. Like I made this documentary for everybody, for other artists that are experiencing the same things, for just regular people that are just interested in the music industry or that use Spotify, just for them to be knowledgeable about what is going on. That was the purpose of this documentary. And so when I posted it, Reed was really excited when he saw that there were a lot of comments coming in and a lot of people making response videos. He was so excited because he was like, oh my God, we've been like waiting for a moment like this. We never had an actual opportunity to have other people like talking about you in this way. And I was like, oh God, I don't want other people talking about me. But Reed, he was really amazing because he watched all of the response videos for me. And, I sat there and I forced myself to watch all of the videos and to read all of the comments and digest it all. Cause I was like, okay, this is my time to really grow a thick skin, a thicker skin. And to get used to people talking about me, making up lies about me, judging me, and really digesting it. And a lot of people are like, don't read the comments. But I don't really believe in that. I want to read the comments because I want to know what people are saying, that there are things that I get inspired by. And if I'm not reading comments and I don't know what the dialogue is about me or on my videos or whatever, then how am I supposed to work with that? I actually use the comments as motivation and inspiration for new ideas. So even if it's just like a tip or something for mixing and production, like if I see a comment that people keep repeating, like, what's your favorite, vocal chain, or what's your vocal chain? And if I keep seeing that comment, then eventually I'm going to make a video saying my vocal chain and map it out for you guys, because that's what a content creator's job is. So while it was hard to read those comments and a lot of them made me sad because people can be so mean, like just for no reason, I value that because it changed me, like there is something that shifted inside of me throughout this whole experience. And I know that there was a greater purpose. So anyway, I think that's a great place to, leave it. And I had such a good time on Livestream today. I could talk for hours, I swear. But what I think I'll do is come back on Wednesday and do another live stream. But if you guys are interested in getting anything on Reed's website, here, I'll just quickly go to the screen here. So he's doing 50% off at wholeloops.com. So he's going to update these prices probably soon. So if you want anything on sale for 50% off, definitely go check it out. He has these really amazing courses. So like a Melodyne course, an auto-tune course, even a content creation course where he teaches you the basics of, Premiere and Final Cut. He has amazing stuff available for 50% off. You can even get the course bundle if you want to learn how to use auto-tune and Melodyne. That's 50% off. And yeah, for the people who are interested in education, here's your education right here. I mean, seriously, we make courses to educate people, and we are very passionate about it. Actually, in high school, I was the drum major of my band, and anytime like my band or choir teacher was absent, I would, teach the class. My mom was a voice teacher. I taught dance class to young kids. So I am naturally a teacher. Reed is also naturally a teacher. So we put a lot of pride into educating people. So if you are interested in more education, then definitely go to wholeloops.com. We have Melodyne course, Auto-Tune, Pro Tools course, video production for Adobe Premiere and Final Cut. And these are a little bit older, but the information is still great. And then I also have how to create vocal sample packs, songwriting for beginners, and singing for beginners. So if you use the code Livestream, you can get 30% off everything on my website. And like I said, we're going to be doing a big sale for Black Friday as well. And by then I will have my new preset pack for Serum out. So, and this, I'm so excited to put this out. It's been hard because I started my Serum preset pack and then this whole Spotify situation happened. So I had to take a break from making it to focus on the content. But I'm actually really happy because now I have a lot more subscribers and people that are interested in my story. So I am working very hard on a bunch of new videos for you guys as well. I have a new video coming out. I can't remember the exact title for my video, but it's something like how hate comments, or like how to turn hate comments into a success, or like into a successful music career, or something like that. So I'm working on that video right now, and hopefully I'll have that posted by either Monday or the end of this week. We'll see. But yeah, you guys are awesome. I had so much fun. Thank you for letting Reed and I, vent our frustrations about music distribution and music streaming. And this is only for the purpose of educating people and telling our stories and our opinions on the matter. If you are an artist, I don't want to discourage you from releasing music. Obviously, do you. And I wish everybody the very best in their music endeavors. I will just be on YouTube from now on, and obviously posting on Instagram and TikTok. And I have an entire old catalog of music on Spotify and streaming services for everybody to enjoy. But yeah, the future for me is YouTube, which I'm very, very excited about. I'm going to be making a lot of music on my channel. I'm going to be using a lot of my album songs in my videos, and a lot of new and exciting documentaries to come. So thank you guys so much, and I'll catch you guys next time in another live stream. Peace out.